We are recording.
All right, so thanks for everybody for joining. We're going to be talking today in this social school about Instagram. So we're starting off Instagram almost on a newbie level, but I want it to be an open conversation with you guys. So while I'm going through this presentation, we're going to stop and pick up our phones and do that as well. But if you get lost or if you have any questions throughout, please type it in the chat or open your microphone or just say what are you talking about? I don't know what a hashtag is. Anything is fine. So just make sure that you guys can open your microphone and ask questions throughout as well. But we will have a Q&A at the end if you want to hold your questions to the very end. And if you're following, okay, obviously too. I just don't want anybody to completely lost for this. So hopefully everybody has an Instagram account. That's first and foremost. If you don't, this might not be the perfect spot for you right now. Maybe Google is first or your app store and download Instagram. And we'll go over, business account versus personal account and a whole bunch of fun other stuff. So welcome. All right, so I'm Holly. That's a good picture of me. Yes, I understand. I am the founder of Creative Solutions, which is a company in Newmarket. I'm part of the chamber as well. So basically what we do is we have two divisions of the business. The first and foremost one is business consulting and strategy sessions. So we do big picture strategy sessions for marketing, branding, and business operations. And then we have a secondary division where we do marketing services, so implementation services. So we have website design development, graphic design from branding all the way to graphic design, as well as social media management for companies. We also do blog writing and content writing for websites. So that's just a bit about us. If you want to find us on social, it's Creative Solutions HQ. And as you know, we are a social company, so we're everywhere. Just look anywhere and you'll find Creative Solutions somewhere. Right now, we're going to just go over a little bit of housekeeping. If you do decide to take pictures of the slides, cool. You can post them on social. If you want to try to take a picture and post on stories on Instagram, that's cool too. Just tag the company and we'll do a repost. You can also, if you have any questions, like I said, ask throughout, but you will get these slides as well as hopefully a video, depending on how well that downloads for Tyler. And the slides and the video, and if there's any external links that I mention, we'll also include those too, but there shouldn't be anything today. All right, so let's go over the basics of even Instagram in general. So if you want, what you'll do is you'll grab your phone and you will open up Instagram. And I'm going to show you a couple small things. So if you don't want to do it right now, that's cool, but I just want to go over some stuff. You will get the slides and the video and you can do it later too. So the first thing is to switch your account to a business account. So if you're going to be using Instagram as a business, you'd want to have your business account. So a lot of people, what they'll do is just have a regular personal account and run their business name from there. That's okay. You can still do that, but there's some benefits to having a business account. So I'm just going to stop sharing for 1 second. I'm going to see if I can open up my Instagram page for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. So 1 second. This is the fun part of technology. So with a shake, can you guys see this new thing popped up instead of the presentation, hopefully? Yes or no, maybe? I'm looking at people's faces. I'm going to assume you can. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, perfect. I'm looking at everybody's face like blanks. Cool. All right, so let me just see if I can log in here so I can show you guys my screen and we can go over a couple of things. All right. Come on, you can do it. All right, cool. So let's go over to Instagram. Don't laugh at how many apps I have. Hopefully Instagram, perfect. So one of the benefits to having a business account over a personal account is all these additional call to action buttons and insights. So if you look at your account, it might just have, it's frozen right now, of course, because that's fun. It might just have just the email, like the website address, and that's it. So if you have stuff like get directions or call now, that means that you probably have a business account. And in order to find that out, you would just go to your settings. So up in the top right-hand corner, do you see mine? We might have different operating systems, but mine's like a little hamburger. And it's probably not going to show up properly right now because that's the way that technology works. So once that pops down, you'll see settings. And you'd click on settings. And you'd kind of go down to account. Okay, so if you guys are doing this with me, you'd follow the steps and you'd see if it says at the very bottom in blue, switch to personal account, or it says switch to business account. So depending on if you've already done this or not, you'll see one or the other. So if it says switch to personal account, good job, you already have your analytics, you already have a business account, you already have multiple call to action buttons. If it says switch to a personal business account, then you can start the process of getting that set up. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second and I'm going to go back over to share the presentation in my Zoom. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Hopefully everybody did that. So the next step would be complete your profile. So really all that means is what happens a lot of the time is someone will either keep their headshot as just the blank one. You'd want to update either your logo or your personal picture, depending on what type of business that you have. Then you want to fill out the rest. So a lot of the times you'll kind of go to someone's business account and it'll say, we do things, or nothing at all is written there. So write a little bit of something about your business and make sure that you actually put the location that you are servicing. So it doesn't matter if you say servicing Canada or worldwide, just put something there so people know. One thing that irritates me if I'm looking for, let's say a chiropractor or another business to see where they're located, even if I'm trying to target that business on Instagram, I can't stand when I'm looking at the profile and I have no idea where they're located. So if you're looking for someone in Canada or even in York region or even in Newmarket specifically, you should write that in your bio, especially if you're local. The next step would be adding your address if you have an actual business, brick and mortar business. I have a virtual company, but I also put the address in there for my business address, even though I don't actually work out of there. I have a business address. And then you want to put some keywords in your bio to fill it all up so that we know what you do. And so those keywords will actually help you when people are searching for certain words, and then you'll come up. The third is to optimize. So there's something called Linktree. And if you guys have 2 browsers right now open for, if you can see me as well as my screen, I'm going to show you my phone. And if you can see my account, it says Linktree above the address. linktr.ee. So Linktree is a really cool, fun app that will allow you to have multiple call to actions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So normally what everybody does is they have just their website in that spot and their website can be clicked. But let's say you have all this other fun stuff you want to promote, like blogs or videos or call to actions or you know, a partnership. If you have, if you're doing any sort of fun promo, you want to be able to have those as other call to actions in that spot. So I'm going to show you when I clicked on mine, for instance, it comes up with multiple call to actions. So now I can say, read our blogs, listen to this podcast that I was on, sign up for our newsletter, visit our website, and then promo stuff. So this is a really good opportunity. I know some of you are looking on your phone, so it's a very small screen that you're just looking at, but hopefully when you watch the video after, or I can send the link as well, or you can just go to my Instagram and see the link tree. It's a free program to use, but it allows you now to have those multiple call to actions instead of just the website. So why that's important is while you're posting stuff on your social media, like on your Instagram account, sometimes you'll say, see the link in the bio. Like if you're trying to promote a blog or you're trying to promote something that's not necessarily just your homepage of your website, you can now have that as an option when people find that post. So what used to happen before Linktree was even a thing is people would say, here's my blog picture. I can't post a link in my picture in my actual post on my timeline. So I would put a link in the bio, which is where the website was. They would replace it. And like 2 months later, say if somebody found that picture on your Instagram, that link in the bio is changed by now, right? So you don't want to have a confusion when people go, wow, I really want to read this. And then they go to your website, your bio, and then it's not there. But you can keep it in your link tree. I will stop talking about that right now. I'm obsessed with this program because it really is a good opportunity for all businesses to use. Now here comes some stuff about content planning. So one of the things that I hear literally every day is, what do I post? People get really scared of Instagram for some reason. Facebook, they feel very comfortable with. Twitter, it's like a totally different world. Everybody hates it. I happen to love Twitter, but most people are like just scared of it. And then Instagram, it's like this mystery. It's like, well, what do I do? Tell me what to post. So we have like a theory or an idea around that. And there's lots of different ways to come up with content, but we'll go over a couple of things. So Andrew Davis from the Curiosity Factor says, content builds relationship. Relationships are built on trust, and trust drives revenue. So the more content that you're posting that's actually relevant to your audience, the better the trust will be had, as well as the trust will then drive revenue. So if you ever just liked working with somebody, you'd want to refer them. It's kind of the same thing on social. If they like what you have to say and they like the content that you have, that you're posting, the more that they can see you working with them or see themselves working with you. Or even if you have a product as well, it's like the content that you're posting can be really great content, but if it doesn't show like the human side of it, it doesn't necessarily drive that trust, which will then drive revenue. So there's a whole bunch of different types of content that you can post. So if your customers do trust you, the content you're posting on a regular basis, and are engaged and excited about your brand, the more likely they are to click on your posts or interact with you online. There's a few different types of things on on Instagram that you could do. So we'll go over them pretty high level. And then there's one that I'll get into a little bit more as well. So there's the timeline, which I'll show you a breakdown in a second. You have a timeline, you have stories, and that usually is the one that everybody kind of wants to do, but it doesn't understand even where to start. So there's the timeline of your Instagram, there's stories, there's highlights, which I'll show you that as well. IGTV, which I'll explain to you, as well as Instagram Live. So this is basically what the timeline looks like. So when you go to Instagram in general and you open it up, this here, and you can see my screen again, this is your timeline. So this is your timeline. So this is your account. These are your posts. You've done some things. So this post, pretend like it's on my timeline. So you have your handle, right? So that's the name of your business or the name of the account for Instagram. This is an edit button, those 3 little dots right there. If you click on that, it'll drop down. You can choose edit. So if you notice that you did typo, later you can actually go back and edit your post. Geotag is one that's actually quite missed. So a geotag can be a really great thing for you guys to be found. So what a geotag means is if you're in a location like you are today, let's say you were at the Newmarket Chamber of Commerce and you posted something and then you click on that underneath your name on your post. So as you're posting, there's a little blank that says add location. If you click on that, the location of the chamber actually comes up first. And then it starts to look at who else is around, what other businesses are around. And then it starts to say, well, is it here? Are you here? Are you here? And if you're like, actually, I don't want to post about Newmarket right now. I'm actually just, this is a picture from Florida and I want to post and tag Florida or tag an actual location that you were in, like a restaurant. So that right there is a huge opportunity because they could tag an actual location or your business. You could tag the location or the business. You can also just tag Newmarket or York Region or Aurora. So what that does is it allows you to be found when people are searching for that location. So there's a couple different spots where people search. One's hashtags and one is geotags. So those two things, if you are utilizing them effectively and people are searching in the search bar on Instagram for something like your service or something like the location, they'll see your post come up as well. So geotags are actually quite important that a lot of people miss. So every post should have a geotag in it. And if you target, let's say you target all of York Region, then one post could say Newmarket, one post could say Keswick, one post could say Georgina, one post could say Aurora. See where I'm going with that? So the more that you can have different geotags in there, the better it is for you to be found. So there's a couple other things that you can do here. So you can post an image or you can post a video. So usually the videos are 60 seconds long. Otherwise, they'll go to IGTV. You can actually post up to 10 pictures in one post and it becomes a carousel post. So if you ever see that swipe, so you have the one picture in the front and it'll say swipe left or swipe right, like Tinder. I don't know if you guys know Tinder. Anyway, so you swipe and then each picture will be there as well. So take a drink of water. Okay, so let's say you have a blog that you wrote, or if you have 5 different clients you want to highlight, or a service, 5 different services or products you want to highlight, you can actually put them in one post and then have the swipe button go. So, or not swipe button, the swipe go. So you can have, check out my top 10 favorite places in Newmarket. First post would be this, first post would be this, and so on. You can tag each of these pictures as well, or videos. So this little guy right here, you'd click on it and it would pop up and you'd start typing in the name of the account for the person you'd like to tag. You can also send this post to somebody. So let's say it's a pretty awesome post, you're super proud of it and you want to send it to your followers or you want to send it to specific people to ask them to share as well. You can do that. So that little airplane, when it opens up, it'll say, do you want to share to your stories or do you want to share to specific people? So you can share either one. You can also save. So this isn't just for your post, this is actually for all posts. So if you're following a bunch of people and you go to your home button on your Instagram and you see a whole bunch of people's posts, this actually will be on everybody's posts. That'll be there. So what you can do is, we use this in a couple different ways. So you can save just to your saved folder, or you can actually create folders. So let's say you're looking at your competition, or let's say that you found some potential clients online, or maybe there's some great content that you'd like to share later. You can hold that button down, which is this little flag. You hold it and it'll say, what collection would you like to save this to? You can create a new collection, or if you already have one, you can save it to there. So what this allows you to do is actually go back and check each of those folders for saved posts. So let's say you have one called to repost, or to recreate as my own business, or awesome people to follow, strategic partnerships, potential clients. All these different folders can exist, and then you find them when you go back to your timeline, that hamburger at the top, you'll find your saved posts there. So you can find each of your collections, or you can see all the saved posts. So if you just like someone's post and you're like, that's pretty cool, I actually want to do one like that myself, just save it to a collection for that. So Twitter has lists, And Twitter used to be amazing in general, which I still like Twitter. And you can save to lists, and then you can see the timeline. So we kind of recreated this in a way to have collections like folders, like lists, where you can keep people and re-engage with them later on as well. So the rest is it, basically the captivating content. You want to write a little blog, a blurb here about what the picture or video is about, and then you want to use hashtags. So hashtags we'll get into, because a lot of people just don't understand what hashtags are, which I get it. Trust me, I didn't understand what hashtags were too until I figured it out. Hopefully I'll simplify it for you guys. If you have questions, let me know though. There's one other, so I'll go back to that first slide to talk about a bunch of different other things like stories and highlights and stuff, but I'll go over going live on Instagram. It's actually really easy to do. So a lot of people get super nervous about going live or doing video. Understandable, completely. What I would do, because I do get nervous on video, believe it or not. I'm kind of used to it now, but I do get nervous on video if I'm going to be recording something and it's something that I want to post on social media. So I'll do a couple takes, like 40. I'll record it on my phone. And so I'm not live yet. I kind of freak out. So I'll record these things on my phone. I'll perfect it. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to go live now. And then I'll go to Instagram or Facebook and then I'll go live. So how you go live is on your phone when you are on your own personal, when you're on the timeline of all the people that you're following, so the home button instead of like your logo button on Instagram. When you're on the home button, you just swipe right and then your camera pops up and you can click on the live button and it'll say, what's your title? And I'll tell you how many people that are following you are actually online at that exact moment that will get a notification saying that you're going live. So right now I've noticed a huge influx of people that are going live now. Whereas before, like in February and last year, it wasn't as common, but it is very, very saturated and crowded space right now. But if you do some promotion prior and you let people know that you want to go live at a specific time of day, we have some clients that go live every single Friday at 2 o'clock. They make sure that that's their thing. We're doing a Q&A every single Friday at 2 o'clock, and that's their thing. So they set it up, they promote it beforehand on your timeline as well as stories, and then they actually go live every single Friday at 2 o'clock. And so once you're finished your live, you can actually download it and save it to your camera roll, and then you can use it on other social media platforms like YouTube or Igtv or Facebook, and you can reuse that content. But have a plan before you go live. I'm gonna go back to this one for a sec. So stories. Let's talk about stories. So the timeline is permanent, right? So when you're posting content to your timeline, it's permanent. It looks like this great looking, I'm going to show my phone again. If you guys can't see it, that's cool. So it's this great content, lovely, lovely, lovely. You have like your idea of the stuff that you want to post. And then stories are this 24-hour little bite-sized of information. So if it's not something that you'd like to have on your timeline, for instance, for it to be permanent, you can do stories. So let's say that you'd like to just do one post in your timeline, and then you want a full day of posting stuff that's just lasts for 24 hours. That's where you do stories. So how you do stories is you basically go, depending on actually it depends on your phone. There's one phone in particular, I believe it's Samsung, that is a little bit more frustrating. So if you can't figure this out, please let me know. You can email me or message me on Instagram if you have, well, hopefully you have Instagram. And I can send you a link for that because it's a little bit annoying. So what this is, so stories, you basically click on your photo there in the top corner. So you click on your photo and your stories, if you already have them, come up. So we already have them. Okay. If you wanted to, let's say you wanted to add an additional story when you already have one. This is I'll go back over how to actually do stories first. So that little guy in the top right corner, there is an actual like little plus sign. That's how you add an additional story for most phones. I'm going to say most phones because that's where that problem is. So if you want to add a story, you usually click on your headshot there, and then it'll pop up your camera, but there's a little picture in the bottom left-hand corner, which is your camera roll. So don't get scared, because normally what happens is someone will open up, they'll click on that right there, and then the camera looks directly at you, and you're like, no, I don't want to post myself. So then you close it, but that's actually in the bottom right-hand corner, or the left-hand corner is where your camera roll is. So if you already have pictures saved or video saved, then you can upload that to stories. And remember, they only last for 24 hours. But there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with stories. So I'm going to pretend like I am adding a new story here. So I'm adding a new story. You guys can basically kind of see yourself right now. But let's say I chose a picture and I just got this really cool hat from a friend. So I want to actually post that. But see at the top where there's a whole bunch of options that we can do? Have you guys ever seen someone's story and it basically it says swipe up? I don't know if you guys ever seen that before. So the swipe up option, it goes to an external landing page, but you can only have that swipe up option if you have over 10,000 followers. So you get that ability after that. So you won't have that link option, but you'll have the opportunity to type text. So there's a little text button there. There's a little squiggly line, which is like lines. But that next one over with the square happy face looking guy, that's your new best friend. So click on that when you're ready, after you've watched this video the second time, or you're doing it now, cool. All kinds of fun stuff pops up. So you can tag your location, you can mention people, you can do hashtags, you can do external GIFs if you like, or GIFs depending on who you are. The time set, you can run a poll, which is my favorite. So if you do a poll or ask questions, awesome. That increases your engagement. So we want to have more engagement. So let's say I do a quiz. So I can say anything from, do you think this is a snapback hat or a fitted hat? And then I can put some questions in there. If you are like, you know what, I don't actually like this anymore, you can take it, and I'm just gonna put that back on here for a second. Okay, one sec. And okay, so let's say you have this on there and you're like, oh, I actually don't like anything I just did. If you've added pictures or anything, you can just hold it and drag it to the little garbage can at the bottom, and it disappears. Okay, so there's tons and tons of fun stuff that you can do. I would actually just play around with it. If you do post something and you're like, no, I didn't mean to do that, it's okay, don't panic. What you can just do is go to your stories, because it'll be there, so you can click on your little highlighted guy again, like your little headshot. You can click on it, and then at the bottom it says more, and then you click on that, and then you just hit delete. Okay, so don't panic. It's not going to affect anything. You can go ahead and delete it. So now what we're going to look at is highlights, because highlights are actually just saved stories. So remember, the timeline's forever, stories are 24 hours, highlights can be forever. So you can make your stories into forevers. I should put that on a t-shirt for some reason. All right, so let's look at highlights. So highlights are these little circles when you have an account, and they're basically like little folders. So the way that I think about these are, what if you could have folders or buckets of things and posts that you want people to see or you want people to know you for. So you could have your services listed here. You could have, people go crazy with this stuff, so I won't go too crazy with you guys because it's definitely like the starter class. You could have testimonials, you could have different price points, you could have a whole bunch of different types of, let's say, folders, which could be these highlights. So what we do is we have them basically grouped as services that we provide. We also have blogs and we have workshops. So when it comes to the content that we keep there, you can create these little images in something called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, and then you can upload them when you create a new highlight. So the strategy behind this, when we're taking on new clients, for instance, is we look at how can we have a strategy for stories based on the highlights that we want to keep on our profile page. Okay, so if you just sort of turn it around a minute and go, all right, what highlights do I want to keep here? Now that will give me some more ideas about what kind of stories that I could post that will only last for 24 hours unless I decide to save it. So I'm going to go to like one of my highlights right now and see at the bottom, or sorry, one of my stories, see at the bottom where it says highlight. So I can click on that and I can choose which highlight I want to save to now. And so I can save it to a highlight. So now what happens when someone comes to your profile, they'll read your bio, they'll see your picture, they'll see how many followers you have, they'll see your link tree, hopefully. You'll see their address and then call now or directions or whatever call to action you've chosen as a business account. They'll see all of your posts, but then they'll see those highlights. And then they'll be like, maybe I'm interested to see what they got to offer. And they can click on them and keep going. So with stories and with highlights, if you don't want to wait for the next one to rotate, you can actually click and touch the right side of your phone and make them go quicker. If you are like, I'm done with this person altogether, I don't want to see any more of their, because they have like 50 million stories all of a sudden, you can just swipe to your left. So swipe to your left and then all their stories will disappear and you'll get to the next one. The way that you find stories of the people that you're following, for instance, is you go to your home button on your account. And so now you see the timeline of your people that you're following. And see at the top, I see someone I know right off the bat. And I think they're actually on this call right now too. So the smsnet.ca, and then the East Gwillimbury Chamber, and then blah, 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 blah. So let's look at his right now. I'm going to click on his, and so I can see his stuff. I can see he has one story. It's going to click to the next person. And then I get impatient, and then I start clicking on the right side of the phone. But if I'm like, you know what, this is actually kind of cool. Let me hold this for a second. So I'm going to hold and I'm going to read it. So do you guys see where I went to find the stories? Hopefully, yeah. Okay, perfect. So if I'm like, oh wait, what was that thing? I just missed it. I can click on the left side of my phone and it will go back to the last story. So there will be some ads in between because that's what marketers do, like us. So you can click on the right to skip, 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 which I do all the time. Skip, skip, skip. You can answer questions on their stories, but it actually is a really good opportunity to see what people are doing in real time, because this is where IGTV, or sorry, this is where your live will be shown, as well as all of your stories that you've posted. And like I said, they last 24 hours and that's it. But you will be able to access them through your account. When you go on here, it'll say, you know, that little, your timeline itself. On that top, the hamburger guy, you'll see your archived stories there. Okay, so if I go to my stories in that spot, it'll show me all the archived ones that were there. So these are all my old ones. So I could say to myself, you know what? I have a bunch of stories that I really love them and I really want to share them again. I can then go and share to my stories again, right from my archives. So you don't have to always come up with new content. So as I mentioned, we have timeline, stories, highlights are saved stories that will remain on your profile. IGTV is its own beast that I won't get into too much, but if you just Google how to create your first IGTV, it'll probably get you to download an app and all of that. You can do it from your computer and you can do it from your phone. Why IGTV is in place is because Instagram figured out that they want to be like YouTube as well. They want to have post videos that will last longer than 60 seconds and saved somewhere. So you can actually have videos saved on your profile that last longer than 60 seconds that will remain on your profile. So we have some IGTVs already in here. So they're just longer videos. And in the middle, you'll see this little television looking button. That is all of our IGTV videos. And so the really cool thing about that is if you decide to have any videos that are longer than 1 minute long, as soon as you go to upload it, we have, excuse me for 1 second. We have just noticed last week that there's an option now when you go to upload a really long video, it'll say, I'll say next, it'll actually say this. So save as a short video, which is 1 minute, or a long video. So short video or long video. It tells you it's going to save it to IGTV if you're going to have a long video. It'll do a preview though to your timeline so that someone can watch it for 60 seconds on your timeline. And then after the 60 seconds is up, have you guys ever been on watching a video and then all of a sudden it says, keep watching? And you're like, oh, okay. Or else, no, it's crap. I don't want to keep watching. So if you don't keep watching, that's fine. If you do keep watching, it actually does open up in IGTV because it's longer than 60 seconds. So that's what it'll show on your profile as well. After someone watches your video preview for 60 seconds, it'll open it in IGTV. So IGTV is a weird one. I totally understand. If you want to know more about it, you can ask me separately, or you can just Google some things to just define where you start IGTV. Instagram Live is super great. Like I mentioned, the way that you get to Instagram Live is you go to your home button. Cray. So you go to your home button and then you swipe your finger on your phone to the left hand, well, I'm going to say to the right because that's how my finger would go from left to right. And then it'll say, do you want to go live? So it's going to open up your camera and it'll say live right at the bottom there. So when you swipe, you can either go live, you can do a story, and then there's this really brand spanking new thing called Reels, R-E-E-L-S, which is basically a ripoff of TikTok. Which is basically a ripoff of a whole bunch of other things. So I haven't investigated Reels too much because I do love TikTok, so I will stick with that. But the opportunity is there. So like I said, you go, you swipe, and then you have the option. Do I want to go live? Do I want to do a story? Or do I want to do Reels? Okay. Let's go over here about what kind of content do you want to post. So we now know all the things that we can do. Awesome. Posting the mix of content is super important because most of the time what companies do is they post stuff like, I sell this. Do you want to buy this thing? I just sold something. You should buy this. I have it for sale. Yeah. If you look at your own accounts and you feel like you might be doing that, don't. Just stop, please. Just let's do this instead. So what that really does is it detracts people. So imagine you did the exact same thing into a networking event and you're like, hi, I'm Holly. I sell this. Do you want to buy it? Look at this thing I sold. This person over there just bought it. You should buy it. Exactly the same thing. So if you wouldn't do it in person, don't do it online. And social media really is a conversation tool as well as a publishing tool. So I think about social as the real social part of it, social media. But I'll tell you what to post. Let's post a mix of content. We call it the 3 E's. So entertaining, educational, and engaging. Entertaining posts totally depends on your brand. I would figure out who you are as a brand, your tone, how jokey or funny you want to be. Like we talk a lot about tacos on like Taco Tuesday, for instance, or we just created a new video because we're celebrating our 6-year anniversary. Woo! So it'll be posted hopefully later today on Instagram. And it's a video that's literally just us being silly, and it's entertaining. It's not educational in the slightest bit. Well, it's basically like each of our team members, we put most likely to, and then did a video of each of us. So mine was like most likely to own a pair of taco pants. And so that is entertaining, could be educational. You might not have known that about me. And it could be engaging if we asked a question. So each post doesn't have to cover each of these things. What you could do is come up with a plan which I'll show you guys an idea. Like Monday could be something entertaining. Tuesday could be something educational. Wednesday could be something engaging. And then maybe you're allowed to sell. Okay? So you want to cover off those 3 E's to really build that engaged audience and to build who you want to target and to attract. And then you can sell to them, because it's similar to a networking situation, right? The type of stuff like themes, evergreen content, which is basically a blog that's written in a way that could be used forever. So you can constantly take pictures of the blog. You could take snippets out of the blog to make quote posts, all kinds of cool stuff you can do with blogs. Infographics, you can create most of this stuff in Canva as well. How-to posts, you can do how to do something in 3 steps and then do that swipe. So step 1, step 2, step 3. Follow me for more useful tips. You can run contests and polls and ask questions. User-generated content is really great, especially if you have a product. So if you have a product that you're selling and you have a user-generated content plan in place to get those pictures and videos from the users, if they tag you, let's say they use a specific hashtag, or they tagged you in a post because you told them to as part of your packaging, let's say, then you can search for that online, or you'll get a notification and you can then repost that content. So the more content someone else is doing for you, obviously, the easier your life will be too. Photos and videos, engaging questions, inspirational quotes. You can have like Motivation Monday and have a quote that your favorite people have done. Or you can repost. So reposting on Instagram is impossible, just so you know. What you have to do is you have to have an additional app called a repost app. So if I go to my Apple store, for instance, it's actually called Repost. It's a great name. So it's Repost for Instagram specifically. You can have a paid version so you don't get that little bar at the bottom saying who the picture came from, or you can keep that. But you always, if you're going to repost something, ask for permission first, and then make sure you tag that person in the post as well. Otherwise, it's sort of stealing content, which is frowned upon in our industry. Let's talk about hashtags. So this is a mystery to a lot of people. Complete mystery. I get it. It's very confusing. Once you get it though, you're like, oh, that makes sense. So basically all a hashtag is, for Instagram and Twitter specifically, that's where you want to use hashtags. All other platforms you can use it, but you don't need to. It's basically a word or phrase preceded, which is beforehand, by a hash mark or the number sign. So it's used within a message to identify a keyword or topic of interest to facilitate a search for it. So if you try to type in a word in a search bar on Instagram, okay, so you get this little search bar on the bottom. So if you look at there's a little search bar there beside the home button. So if I want to search for something, up in the search bar, if I just start typing in, let's say, logo design. The first tab says top. The second tab over, if you can see what I'm doing here, says accounts, then tags, then places. Remember what I was saying about people searching for places, like if they search for Newmarket or York Region. So logo design, under tags, there's a little hashtag symbol in front of it, because somebody used the number sign, the hashtag sign in front of that word. So now we can pick it up. And for places, These are all the geotags. See that little like white circle-y thing there? So those are geotags now. So if we want to go to hashtags, we now can see that 1.9 million posts have been posted with that specific hashtag. And then logo designers, and now you're like, wow, these words are actually all relevant to each other. So logo designs, logo designer, logo designers, logo designing, logo design love, club, place, ideas, services. These are all relevant, right? So if you're thinking about the types of words that you should be using in your post to then be searched for, you would think of words to describe your business or describe your offering or describe the picture or video. And I'll show you some examples. So we posted a video. You can have up to 30 hashtags per post. So what some people do is they create like a Word document with a whole bunch of hashtags, and they searched their business, most of the service or product in Instagram, just like I did. So they search the word like logo design, and they see what other hashtags are relevant to that hashtag as well. And then they create a Word document with all the words, all the keywords, all the hashtags that is relevant to their business. And then you can pick and choose from there. You can also save them in notes on your phone so that you can copy and paste. I just wouldn't use the same hashtags on every single post. Mix them up. And I would use a maximum of 10 unless it's a post that you really want a lot of people to see, especially if you're starting out. So let's look at this one for instance. Okay, so I have this post. It's National Hip Hop Day, was yesterday. If you didn't know that, now you know. And then I have a whole bunch of hashtags that are actually relevant to the hip hop world, like West Coast hip hop, Dre, Dr. Dre, not Drake, hip hop dance, hip hop, bust a move, blah, 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 old school rap. So those hashtags, as you can see, are all relevant to that other hashtag and what I want to be found for. So let's look at this word hip hop dance. So if you can tell, these are actually all blue, and this stuff at the top, just the words, are black. That makes sense to me because the blue ones means that now they're actually hyperlinked or clickable. The black words are not clickable. So if you don't use the number sign in front of your word, it's no longer clickable. So if you decide just to put hip hop dance, that's okay. You just won't be found for that specific keyword, or you can't find someone else for that specific keyword unless there's a number sign attached to it. So I'm going to click on the word hip hop dance because it is hyperlinked. And why this is important is because let's say you use the hashtag new market or York region, or let's say you're a weight loss expert and you have an online program and you are looking for people that have used a specific hashtag in their post. They could be using a hashtag like keto or weight loss journey or just engaged. So if you think of the types of hashtags that your user, your actual target customer would use in their post, you can now search for them. So I just typed in hip hop dance, for instance, and all the top posts came up first. This is important because these people are popular, and if you want to talk to those people, you can have a conversation with them. So let's say I was targeting entrepreneurs. I would use that hashtag in the search bar, hashtag entrepreneurs or boss babe or whatever that they would be using on their post. And then I would start conversations with them, which I'll get into. This is the bigger part of the social. This is a digging in. Like, we can post stuff, but if I don't want to do post and ghost, which I call it. So if you post stuff and you never do anything else, it's called post and ghost. You just walked away. But let's say you're going to do a little bit deeper. So right now you have your top post. You can go and like a bunch of those posts, or you have the most recent. And why this one's important is because these people are probably still online. So I can see this was 43 seconds ago, 1 minute ago, 2 minutes ago. So if I'm looking for my target market by doing a hashtag search or a geotag search, all these posts come up. And I'm like, wow, these people should know that I exist because they have a need. I happen to have the solution for them. They just didn't know that I existed. So you can start a conversation, or you can just like their post. So you can go through and do a hashtag search for whatever you feel is a topic that your actual target market would post about. So I would do stuff like Aurora or new market or new business or things like that. And then I would actually just start talking to those people, liking a bunch of posts. You could comment on the post as well. You could follow them if you'd like, and you can send them a direct message. The way that you send them a direct message, I'll show you. I'm just gonna go on this person's profile because they just followed us. So right now it says follow or message. I could like a couple of her posts. I could comment on a couple of her posts. I could click on the message button, which now brings me to our direct messages. A fun thing that I can do is record a video saying, hey, Katie, just want to see you. I just want to say hi. We're just wondering, what is your favorite taco, whatever. I don't know. I said that, don't laugh. So you could ask some questions. You can be engaging. Imagine getting a video sent to you from a president of a company that you just followed or that you didn't know existed. And they're like, hey, Katie, and they say your name. And then they ask you a question. It's a great way to start a conversation. Some people might think this is extra super stalkerish. I get it. It kind of is. But all these people are online. If they are your target market, they will be interested in starting a conversation with you, especially if they're in the purchasing decision right now. If they don't know you exist and you never reach out, you never talk to anybody, you're posting and ghosting. It's like walking into a networking event and taking all your business cards and throwing them in the air and then going, all right, cool, hopefully someone calls me, and then leaving. Like it's not gonna work. So if you instead walked up to somebody and said, hey, cool shoes, I just thought they were really interesting, where'd you get them? Or, hey, we're in the same place right now, what'd you think? How long did it take to get here? You can start a conversation with anybody in person, but for some reason, people don't take that exact same idea and methodology into a social media platform. It's exactly the same thing. You want to shake hands, you want to high five, you want to talk to people, you want to start conversations. And the way to do that is by doing a hashtag search as well as a geotag search and starting a conversation. They didn't know you existed before. They need to know. Tons of different things that you can do. So you have your idea on your either notes, or you have all your hashtags in notes, or you have them in a Word document, or if you have them written on a piece of paper, whatever you're gonna do, it's cool. And you wanna use those kind of hashtags. But there's a couple different things that you can do with hashtags. So you can actually see what's trending and popular, which I'll go over a little bit as well. Like each day of the week actually has some really popular hashtags. So let's say you are a pet sitting company, and on Tuesdays, just so you know, Tongue Out Tuesday is a very popular hashtag that everyone posts their dog or their cat or their pig or their animals with their tongue out. So you can imagine all the pugs that are on there. So that's a really easy conversation to start. The only problem with hashtags searches on Instagram is that you can't narrow it down to a specific geographic location. I'm hoping that they get that, but I don't know if they will. So you can't do a hashtag search like Tongue Out Tuesday and then narrow it down to only New Market. It'll be everybody in the world that has posted Tongue Out Tuesday, but it's a conversation starter to get more followers as well as potential clients, depending on how much you're doing this reaching out. You do this keywords researching, which is great. Product or service, you can say in the hashtag which product or service that you're selling, so as a descriptor. So you can be very descriptive. So let's say you did a Taco Tuesday, but it was funny. So you can put hashtag LOL, hashtag can't wait to eat my tacos. So you can sort of use it as a funny descriptor depending on your business model as well. You can do location hashtags, which I highly recommend. Funny your personality, you can be part of the conversation. So this is a big one too. So let's say in a public event, you were at Toronto Rib Fest, for instance. They could have a hashtag that is for their business. So their event itself was Ribfest TO 2020, if they had it. So it'd be posted everywhere. Post on social media and tag us in your post at blah, blah, blah. Use the hashtag Ribfest TO 2020 and we'll repost you. Maybe they're doing a contest. So if you're taking a picture and you use that specific hashtag in your post, now that company can actually search for that hashtag because it's hyperlinked, or they can do a search with the number sign in the top. And then they can find everybody that has used that specific hashtag. They're most likely at the event. So if you're like, I want to go to Ribfest, but I'm not sure, you can then go onto Instagram and do that hashtag search and look at all the pictures and get really hungry and want to go. If you're in an event like this for now, right, we don't have a hashtag for this, but we could, and then you would tag us and the Newmarket Chamber, and you'd use the hashtag Newmarket Chamber Social School or something like that. And then we could search for it and actually find you and thank you and repost. So you probably want your own hashtag. That's okay. If you would like your own hashtag for your business, oh, I just noticed that was misaligned. Don't stare at it. I shouldn't have brought it up. So if you want your own hashtag, really all that means is you're kind of going to use it as a tagline. So one of the businesses that we used to work with, they were a really edgy interior design company, and they were super like crazy edgy, you know, tattoos and everything was like black and purple and skulls, and it was a really cool company. So they wanted this hashtag to be really unique and really memorable, short, make it stand out. It's like their catchphrase. So we actually came up with the hashtag for them, inject some edge. So now the clients that they work with, if they're taking pictures and they're posting on social and they're tagging this company, they can use the hashtag inject some edge. It's a really good descriptor on the business itself. They could have just done TED Interiors or TED Productions, but they wanted to use their own hashtag to be memorable. So if you want to come up with your own hashtag, it's just as hard as coming up with your own tagline for your business. Okay, so remember when I was talking to you guys about coming up with ideas for content? This could actually be a really good way to start the 3 E's, or if you're like, I can't think of the 3 E's right now, Holly, I want to just pick some content for each day. This kind of stuff, like you'll get this as well. And this is a really good idea to look at, especially if you want to be part of the conversation. If you are looking at your own hashtags to post on your own platform, as well as search for other people. So let's say you're trying to come up with ideas for content. You can look at these, or you can find others, but really great ones and really popular ones are Mindset Monday or Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is a really popular one. And so if someone's feeling like they want to be really motivated, at least you have an idea for content for that day. I'm going to post something motivational. Done. Mondays are done. Tuesdays, and you don't have to post every day. You can post every second day as well. Just keep it consistent. So on Tuesdays, you know, Tips Tuesday, Tasty Tuesday, Tech Tuesday. Tasty Tuesday would be great for like a restaurant, for instance, or an ice cream shop or a bar. Tips Tuesday is great for any business that wants to create tips for their audience. You could do video or you could do posts. Wednesday Wisdom or Wine Wednesday or Wines Day, Wellness Wednesday. So there's tons of different ones. So Throwback Thursday is a really popular one as well. And Feature Friday. So Feature Friday, what we do is we actually feature a client every single Friday. So something that we've done for them every Friday. You can do Saturday night, Saturday shout out. You know, you don't have to also look at every single one of these and go, oh, I don't really have anything for Saturday night. You don't have to post on Saturday at all. If your business isn't open on the weekends and you don't want to do customer service on the weekends, then don't post on the weekends. Post Monday through Friday if you can. So another idea, we have a blog that we wrote. We'll send, this link will be in here as well. We asked our team. So we have a few social media managers and a director of social. And we said, how do you get content for their clients, our clients? How are you coming up with the content? Because we all have our different processes, believe it or not. And I was actually shocked at a couple of them. And I thought, wow, that's actually a good idea. I didn't even think of that. Or like searching for like through Quora, or for instance, or Medium, or these sort of blog sites as well. So you look for ideas. If you type in the word Instagram, for instance, people are asking questions in Medium and Quora, for instance, and Reddit as well. So people are asking questions in there, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a really good idea for a post. So there's lots and lots of ways that each of us gather the content. I would just really recommend you guys reading this blog. It's super short. It's from last year, and it's still relevant. It's something might resonate more than somebody else. So I think you should read this blog and see if something can help you guys come up with content as well. So now that you have your content, hopefully down pat, and you're like, okay, I'm going to post 3 to 4 days a week. That's my game plan. I'm going to post a mix of content, so I'm not selling to everybody all the time. You can then have an idea for a couple of stories if you'd like, and possibly go live. Ooh, go live once in a while. So let's engage with some people. So you want to create a community where people feel like they actually belong. And that kind of goes into your branding. So if you build a larger, more engaged audience, the larger the audience and more engaged it is, the better chances you'll have to convert those people, which is your followers, into clients or customers through your marketing efforts. So most people just think, well, I have something to sell and this person needs it, so I'm going to post about it. But actually, when you think about it, there's another human on the other end there, right? So your target market are actually just people. They're humans. And so are you. And so when you look at this B2B or business to business marketing, or B2C, business to consumer marketing, you're actually doing H to H, human to human. So how are they motivated to buy? What do they want to see? How helpful can you be for them? What kind of things do they want to know? So let's say you have a product that is for younger kids, like parents, let's say, and you are constantly just telling them, like, you have this great thing, you should listen to my testimonial, we have this promo now. What you might want to consider is posting content around maybe being a parent, difficulties of being a parent, bringing in an expert to talk about parenting solutions, or how to get your kids ready for back to school. Or there's lots of stuff in the parent world that doesn't necessarily have to do with your product or service. You're just being helpful. So you would do that in person. I know you would. Let's do it online as well. So you've gotten some great content. You're actually attracting the right people. Now let's see if we can start conversations. So by doing that, liking or looking for hashtag searches and geotag searches, now it gives you a broader opportunity to start being proactive and talking to people. And this is where Instagram is the best cold calling tool out there. Instagram is the only platform that will allow you to send direct messages to all public accounts. So if there's someone online that you feel on Instagram that you feel you want to have a conversation with, send them something. Start a conversation with them. They might not email it, they might not send you something back, but you're reaching out. Because if you think about it like that networking thing, if you never talk to anybody, if you never go and up to somebody and speak to them, you're going to tell me that networking doesn't work. But the whole point of networking is to meet people, whether it's customers or whether it's strategic partners or whether it's someone just to have a conversation with, referral partners, for instance. So if you can do that in person, you can actually do that on Instagram, and Instagram specifically, because on Facebook, you can't do it. You can't actually talk to anybody from a business account to your personal account, to someone else's personal account. You can't do it on Twitter either. You can't do it on all of the platforms. Instagram's the only one. So you're going to do a few things. You're going to look and put the social back in social media. You're going to respond to every single comment. This is customer service. You're going to respond to all the comments. If it's just a spam comment on one of your posts, delete it. Don't leave it there because it looks like you're not attending to that. So viewers, your people that come to those posts, for instance, might think that you don't have great customer service. Maybe you just posted and ghosted. Maybe you're not going to be there for them if they ask you any questions as well. So make sure to thank people, comment back for sure. The more engagement you can do on your posts, the more Instagram likes you and the more they're going to show you to more people, especially in that search function. If you see something that you like the post. So show people some love. So this is like strategic partners. You've done your hashtag search. You've done your geotag search. You've started that conversation. You've liked it. Now you're going to, if you want, comment on that post as well. So if you've ever seen in your notifications, when people are liking and commenting on your stuff. So in your notifications, it usually is one thing at a time. So one person doing something at a time. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to go to my notifications. And right now on this particular post, it's a whole bunch of randoms, one of people that just like that one post. Okay. So you might get lost in the sea of people liking that particular post. But what you could do to be, I guess, more noticed is you can like a few posts and maybe comment on a few. And what that'll do is your name will be here 6 times or 5 times or however many times you did the thing. So if it were me and I'm looking at my notifications and I see that someone, one account, did 5 things on my account, liked a post, liked a few posts and maybe comment on a few posts, I would definitely look at to see who they are. I don't know if you guys are as curious as me, but I immediately go, oh, they're really interested in my content. Okay. And then I'll go to I'll actually click on their picture, go over to their account. They literally just made me go to their account only by liking and commenting on my post. It works. That's what we do for all of our clients. We just go into their accounts every single day. We do customer service. We attract the ideal client by liking, commenting, and sending a direct message and being a human. We're all people. We're all humans. Let's be people in these platforms. If you are just sending out, really basic direct messages or commenting a thumbs up, it's going to look like a spam or a bot account. Be a person. Now, the downfall to this is it takes time. Not gonna lie to you. So what I've done is I've created a daily engagement checklist for you. If you can spend a minimum, just 10 minutes a day. I know you have 10 minutes. If you can set that time aside, you already have your content going because you've probably scheduled it, or maybe you just posted something that day, that's fine. Your content's there. But this is the biggest part that is missing, which is called a community management or engagement specialist. It's the human aspect of the social media part. So if you can spend just 10 minutes, just please, or 30 like I'm asking you to, but just a few minutes a day, just doing these small steps, okay? And I won't go over every single one of these because you guys will get this checklist as well. So these are the steps to take. I'm teaching you exactly how our social media managers do this every single day. You have the power in your hands. If you want, you can even take a screenshot of your current state of your account right now. And in a month from now, send me the other screenshots, the before and after. Because I'm going to guarantee that your follower number is going to go up and it's going to be your target audience or people that are interested in your brand. Your interaction and the amount of people that are going to view and see your posts are going to skyrocket because you are proactively engaging with people that never knew you existed. So if you can if you can follow, if you can send direct messages, if you can comment, that is what we get paid for. That's all we really, well, it's not all we get paid for, but we have a big strategy around it. But this is the main thing without paying for ads is how you get more engagement, more potential for people to buy from you, and way more visibility. If you're looking at social media as a conversion tool only, you gotta make sure that you're humanizing everything first. So the way that you do that is the great content and then humanizing by doing community management. So you can't buy engagement. You have to build it. That's number one. So I want you guys to keep going to what you're actually doing now, because something's working, right? So you are still in Instagram, you're still doing your thing, but apply these things, you know, be yourself, share knowledge and your passions, and just have fun with it. And I know a lot of people get stressed out thinking like, oh, I'm going to screw it all up, or I'm going to like post the wrong thing. It's okay. You know, like you can post something and then delete it later. No problem. See what's going to work. And I have some other agencies, what they'll do is they'll post a bunch of content and then they'll go back and delete the stuff that wasn't performing well. I wouldn't say that that's a good tactic, because I'd rather see you have content on there and maybe change up the hashtags, but not delete the content. But if you're not sure and you're freaking out, then it's okay. You can delete it and you can redo something else. And I'm going to open this up now to a Q&A, and I did see some people have dropped off. So I have some questions in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing. I can do that. And I'm going to open it up to a couple of people. Okay. So that's just something that came up. Great session and no questions. Cool. So does anybody have any specific questions about Instagram that you want to come on video, or you can just open up your microphones, or you can type it in the chat here as well? Any questions? Is there anything that you guys picked up on for today's lesson, for instance, that you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing actually? Anything that came up? Cool. All right. So what we'll do is Tyler will get this going. So he'll have, Tyler, do you want to go over what you're going to put together?
Yeah, so what I can do is I can upload the recording to YouTube. So I'll have that. I'll include a link to that in the thank you for attending email, as well as the slides, if you can provide them to me, Holly.
Sure.
And any other tips that you want to include in that, I can send that out as well.
Sounds good. And so if you guys ever need to reach me, obviously Instagram is a really great tool if you want to reach out, but email is on the slides as well as the website. So any questions at all that you feel maybe I didn't answer or you're too shy to ask in this particular session, just reach out anytime. And enjoy the rest of the day.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Holly.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you everyone for joining us.
Good stuff. Bye.